Most brands waste hundreds of thousands of dollars and stay stuck for months, if not years, not because they're running the wrong ads. In fact, they're actually good ads, but they're running them at the wrong stage. In this breakdown, I'm going to go over the appropriate advertising solution for a product at its various stages of growth. We've seen so many brands use the wrong solution it could be a right solution, but it's at the wrong stage, waste time, and most importantly, obviously money, and continue being stuck at a certain stage of growth. So I'm Jesse Mace. I'm the CEO and founder of Voadera. We've sold hundreds of millions of dollars on online marketplaces, primarily Amazon. This year, we're on pace to spend $2.3 million on advertising spend just on Amazon. Our average growth rate for brands is 34.8% year over year that are in our portfolio that we're partnered with. And these are the strategies that we use for the various stages. So what I'm going to go over the different advertising solutions. What do you have available within the Amazon Advertising Council, but also a little bit outside of that too. Some stuff that we've been using outside of that, and the appropriate ones for each stage. These are stages we broke down. There's obviously some nuance. Some stages might be more relevant for the one next to it, even though it's in that one. But these are just general guidelines. And at the end, overall best marketing practices, basically. So what are the core four marketing buckets that we see? The first one is Amazon Direct Demand Capture. This is the one everyone talks about. Usually when they say PPC, pay-per-click, this is usually what people are talking about. There's obviously much more than that. There's SP, and I'll get into each one more in depth, but let's just stick with these for now. I don't want to go on tangents. And then we have Amazon Indirect Demand Generation, and then we have Alpha Amazon Demand Capture and Alpha Amazon Demand Generation. So even high level, and I'll get it to this end, but basically it's either direct or indirect, right? The attribution, is it direct or indirect? And then is it within Amazon, is it off Amazon? That's kind of the four ways to look at it. So Amazon Direct Demand Capture, you can think of all of these. It's primarily within the AMS, so Amazon Marketing Solution Portal, so the campaign manager, what a lot of people call it. You have SP, sponsored product, sponsored brand, sponsored product video, sponsored brand video, sponsored display. Sponsored display, actually, it's direct and indirect. It depends which one's used within that. So we'll put a little caveat to that one. Very much bottom of funnel. It's you're capturing what exists. Usually the lowest cost of acquisition, or not. It's tough to say lowest, but it's most direct cost of acquisitions because other ones might have nuance, right? You might get, let's just say theoretically, you get a Super Bowl ad for $1, right? For 30 seconds, that's going to have a much lower CAC. But usually, this has the lowest CAC based on the situations. And it's more cash grab-esque. You're kind of just turning on a funnel. You're getting what you can basically, and there's a lot of margin compression risk because it's available to everyone. It's very simple, and everyone's just calculating the numbers, how much can they afford, and all the way until zero. That's why obviously CPCs are going up because people are just backing into the unit economics, especially for supplements. They have LTVs, so all that kind of stuff. So that's one of the issues with this one. Amazon Direct Demand Generation obviously has, same as the one before. You could think of like Google ads for your specific product, specific keyword. Again, this is targeting people searching for your brand, right? Or your product of awareness. So they have higher levels of awareness. They're product aware, they're problem aware, all of that is applicable to them. And you can see the various. Oh, sorry, this is Amazon Indirect Demand Generation. So I'll just briefly go over this one, then I'll go to that one. But this is obviously indirect. So people aren't necessarily searching, you're creating demand. So sponsored display, again, it's in here, DSP. Actually, it's going to the Amazon console soon. So within AMS or Campaign Manager, I know they introduced AMC within the Amazon Marketing Cloud, which obviously is advertising spend, but still they're upgrading that portal. And they're saying that they're going to add DSP to it, which is exciting. It looks like growth, but it could be cannibalization. So something to be aware of. You want to measure incrementality with this one. Make aware. So off Amazon Demand Capture, I mentioned this a little bit before, but you can think of Meta or Google, where someone's searching for your product. They're typing in your product in, let's say, Google. Let's just say you have ice packs. One of our products is an ice pack. So ice pack for pregnant women, right? And then someone types that into Google. Your product on Amazon shows up. That's Alpha Amazon Demand Capture. And then Alpha Amazon Demand Generation. So this is again, we're talking about like a Super Bowl ad falls into this category, right? Or this is where you're creating demand. You're That's at a highest level, obviously, but there's much more simple concepts. The most common one in e-commerce is influencers or influencer marketing and all that kind of stuff. So messaging is more generic. Leadership category, leadership phase. Actually, not necessarily. I mean, it could be earlier, but it becomes very absolutely necessary at that stage with partnerships. Builds brand equity. It depends how you use it. So recap: direct capture is the most control, most intent. Uh, Again, whether Amazon or off Amazon, I asked ChatGPT to make pictures, so forget about the accuracies there. But indirect creation is cold audiences, least control. That's where you're kind of just getting after it, and you don't control the outcome of it necessarily. You actually not only don't control it, but you also don't know the outcome. And you can see as you go up the funnel, you kind of have off Amazon, less control, the coldest, and then down the funnel is the most ready to buy, highest intent, hottest, warm audience, all those terminology, same thing. So now let's jump into the various phases, right? So 0 to 100K, this is when you're initially launching, and this is per year, right? So your product is doing 0 to $100,000 per year in revenue. The objective here is to just validate demand and product market fit. You want to make sure that something exists for the product. It's also positive sentiment. You're only targeting one avatar specifically, and the more specific here you are, the better, as long as search volume exists. So, for example, you can say you have a coffee mug, but you can also say coffee mug for males that are between ages of 25 and 35, right? So once you have a specific avatar, you can tailor the PDP to that and you can win that specific customer, but you don't want to get too specific. So it's product coffee mug for 25 to coffee mug for males that are 25 years old and 35 days, right? So then what? Is there enough search volume for that? Obviously not. And you're not going to get sales. So you want to make it enough so there's search volume and there's purchasing, but not too big where it's tough to win. You're competing against the big people. So you want to specialize it. You want to make sure that just the initial version, just to get it out there, get momentum, see how it resonates with the primary audience you had in mind. That's where you're looking at organic lift. Are you starting to rank organically for that specific audience, for that specific keyword? Again, you're not looking if you're ranking organically for everyone, just specifically within that one. And then you're looking at CVR, right? You're looking at SQP to see CVR, but more importantly, the reviews. What are the Vine and organic? I know everyone hates Vine, but they serve a purpose. They're actually useful. They give thoughtful reviews, and we like them just to make sure that the sentiment is there and the product is checking off. The manufacturing is checking off. Nothing is very obviously bad that we have to arrange and organize going from there. And so you're learning and understanding the market. That's kind of what you're doing in this phase. You're kind of dipping your feet into it. You don't want to get false positives from paid demand that you're getting sales, but all of it is just you're getting 10 million impressions and 5 people are buying, right? Eventually, yes, someone is gonna buy. They probably press the buy button by accident. The question is, what's your CVR compared to market? And if your CVR compared to market is good, then you're gonna see the organic rank lift. So that's where the advertising strategy, we get into it now. What are you doing at this stage? What are we usually doing for these stages here? Primarily sponsored product. We're doing auto campaigns just to discover what keywords exist in the market. We're trying to learn. We don't know everything. So we see what Amazon suggests or what Amazon drives for keywords. So we're not spending much. But then we're doing the high intent exact terms, right? So the specific keyword that we're tailoring our PDP to it, let's say coffee mug for males, right, or coffee mug for work, or whatever that is. That's what they call long tail, right? Long tail is also very specific avatar, so it's kind of the same thing. You're going after those long tail keywords because you just want, one, it's cheaper, two, your product is more tailored to it, so it's likelier to convert, because you have to make up for the fact that reviews and ratings don't exist. Now, the other strategies, you attach it to another variation of yours that has a lot of reviews. Amazon is tightening down this. It's not as an effective tactic, but that exists out there. Testing focus, you want PDP clarity, product detail page. You want to make sure the messaging, again, this goes back to it. You want to tailor to that specific customer. No one else solves the problem like you, at least perceived. Another product might, but when a customer goes to your image, oh, this is exactly what I need for my situation, and they feel very confident buying your solution or your product. Now the next stage, 100K to 1 million. Your goal here is to stabilize ranking. You want to make sure that your organic ranking is stabilizing. Is it sitting? Is it consistent week over week? Is it growing week over week? Right? You start looking at that kind of stuff, and you want to see what advertising budget you can afford. What does the market look like? What's the tacos based on the unit economics? All that kind of stuff. Understanding where you have to stand, and based on the stage, you can decide a long-term strategy because you can tell, okay, this market is tapped out, it's just going to have to sit here, or this is a huge market, I want to continue scaling it just based on where you sit within Amazon. You can always create demand, obviously, but Amazon is usually demand capture. Yes, you have DSP, which we'll get into later, but you can usually see in this level, okay, how much more demand exists? How much runway do I have within the AMS Council, Amazon Marketing Services, the Amazon Direct Demand Capture, to be able to seize the market, and you're understanding that at this stage because you're pushing the edge of what a normal keyword can do usually for a very niche product. But again, if the category is bigger, then you have much more runway. Primary metrics, you're looking at organic rankings, and also the ratings. Obviously, what are the customers giving you? Contribution margin, what's the unit economics here? Reviews and ratings, are they stabilizing? Are they coming in? Are they above the category market? I don't like saying 4.3 or 3.5. A 3.5 might be good if everyone else in the category is a 3-star, right? It's just a tough to satisfy market. So again, you want to be usually 0.2 stars above your market. Brand analytics, you're going to start using the console more here. You have additional data. It's not as relevant when you're at the earlier stage. There's not enough purchases. There's not enough data. But now you're starting to get some data. So you want to see what the brand analytics looks like. SQP is one of the most relevant tools. You want to see that specific keyword groups that you built your product towards. How are you doing for them? And how are you rating against them? So core focus, ensure organic ranking is obtained for top target keywords. You want to be in the top 5 for your primary ones. And then you want organic ranking still search way up. Above 50% is generic. It's all relevant, again, to category, to strategy, but this is where we start seeing our organic sales usually go up 50%. And then the core risk is just getting excited, buying growth before proving elasticity, trust. And that's why we're also proving market economics because, again, as you can see, the last point here, you want coupons to test price elasticity. You want to see where you can stand in pricing because, okay, it's not unit economics here, but I can see if I get 5,000 more reviews, I can raise the price $3, $4 because the market is there. But you start understanding the market in generally, how much elasticity you have, how commoditized is your category, understanding all that kind of stuff. Primary ad channels, so SP, full funnel coverage, exact phrase, broad match, all that kind of stuff. And you start actually like sponsored product videos, start releasing them here. We like to use them here. But then most importantly, you're doing SKCs, attacking high conversion rate keywords that you can win. If you're not already top 3 in the keywords, but your conversion rate is 2% higher than the market based on search query performance, then you want to launch SKCs to get to that ranking there and to start winning those keywords and to start spending money because you know that your conversion rate is good. So eventually Amazon's going to notice that. You just need to feed it data. And that's what the single keyword campaigns are doing. And you want to do competitor product targeting, SB brand events, and search engine results page, basically showing ownership there for your primary keywords. Promotions and pricing, price discounts, coupons to test price elasticity. So you're starting to do PEDs. They used to call them prime exclusive discounts. I think now they're just price discounts. You're starting to run a small version of price discounts in there and coupons and promotions to get it testing. And then you're A/B testing the main image, the CVR. You're just making sure what resonates with your ads to get you to the next level of growth. The 1 to 5 million. So phase objective, you're capturing market share by nominating keyword group within the master keyword list. So master keyword list is the same as category, right? It's kind of the similar concept. Is you're looking at what are the customers searching right now. You're starting to broaden your avatar. So initially, if you had a coffee mug, the coffee mug we said for 25-year-olds, it can also work for females, right? You can release another pink variation. That's where you're working that into it. But you don't want to spread the focus. You don't want to dilute the reviews, dilute the ad spend among many products. Now is a good time we find it to do that, to release different variations, to dominate other keyword groups, and to start attacking them. And also, our organic ranking should still be maintained for the original ones. We're not going to lose the coffee mug for male, but we're also going to now attack the other ones. One example is we had a product that was a self-cutting tool, right? But we noticed that once we got to this stage, we started selling, we're getting to the $1 million stage. What we did is initially it worked for that, but also what we did, it worked for women trying to put on makeup. They're trying to see the back of their head, making sure everything's organized. So now we started adding other pictures in the third or fourth image for women dressing up in it. We still are winning the self-cutting three-way mirror, that primary section, but now we're doing other sections where we're winning those other categories, we're winning those other keywords. So being more holistic in our strategy and looking at what the overall looks like, basically. You're looking at how much that new channel avatar is adding for you. Overall TAC goals or MER, marketing efficiency ratio, same thing flipped basically. Dominated keyword groups within applicable to products. So anything within that your product can serve. So an iPhone, it can serve people looking to take pictures, serve people looking to take phones. Initially, now it's very broad. That's how I was able to get a bigger market. If you want to, again, get more sales, that's where you're looking at overall sales here. You want to attack different keyword groups. You want to attack adjacent markets, maybe release variations if needed, but you want to capture additional market share. That's kind of what you're doing here within your category, basically. You want to dominate as much as you can, eat as much as you can. And that's how you do it, basically, or that's how it's done. Beat category benchmarks, CTR, CVR. Now it's easier because you have the reviews and rating to back you, which is a huge moat on Amazon, basically. And you do the product development because now you have data to do that. You refine your product, you perfect it. To just because you have so much reviews, you could just use AI to scrap it, and you can publish it accordingly. And you plan and fully capitalize a promotional calendar. This is where you start looking at the promotional calendar. You sit down beginning of 2026. What holidays do I have this year? Which ones are relevant? If you're outdoor product, for example, we have outdoor products. You have the big spring sale, right? We're planning for that. We're doing promotions for that. We're doing it year start. Usually when products are smaller, it's not as necessary to dominate these events or participate in them. You could just rely on basic sales. But now it's obviously very different. Unless you're a very seasonal product, then it's obviously a different scenario. But most products are year-round. Ad solutions, so you're looking at sponsored brands. Sponsored display, now you start, this is where it's a good chance to test DSP before DSP, because sponsored display is not DSP, but you can do off Amazon attribution, see how it's working, get familiar with it. AMC, you start using that, you look at path analysis, you look at the relevant data, but you can also test incrementality with DSP. It's not necessary to use DSP sub 5 million, but it is helpful. Some brands it works really well with. And what you can do is, let's say you just turn it on for 3 months, and then this is the very generic test, right? We kind of call it the hammer test, but very basic is you turn it on for 3 months, you turn it off for 3 months. Did your sales go down at that period? Did they not? Okay, then there wasn't incrementality. Usually, again, so generic test, but it helps. We can also use AMC to tag a customer and see if they come back and see what that looks like, or other tools as well. And then you expand against SKCs for keyword groups. So you start, for example, that product that I mentioned. Now we have SKCs for women makeup and woman mirror makeup, right? And then we're attacking that one, and we're displaying those images and those pictures for that. And now you're starting to compete with the big boys. You're looking at the bigger events, the more expensive one, lightning deals, best deals, top deals. You want to get in that pages. You want to get there, and you start participating in those more expensive events. If you have SaaS, you get one of those free a week. We have it, thankfully. So that's also something we're taking advantage of for our brands that partner with us. Now, 5 million plus, we're using the demand creation rather than demand capture. This is where it changes. We're creating demand. We're owning the category narrative. You could think of many brands that did this, that where you think of a certain product that you need, you think of a certain brand associated with this. Like even healthy soda, you're thinking about Poppy or Olipop. You want to think about adhesive bandages, you're thinking about Band-Aid or Band-Aid. I don't know if there's any other brands actually. Native, clean you want clean deodorant, you think of Native. That's what you want to become for your product. For example, men's wallets, right? Ridge, Sean, he's doing really good at that. Right? And then he owned that category. So this is where your product, you want it to own that category. You want to have the association, the mind share, also known as share of voice. That becomes a big component here. You want to become the primary and only focus, and you can raise prices, hike, and be more profitable at this stage because you have a brand to back it. You have the proven ability to serve that marketplace. And you move from SKU level thinking, obviously, to brand level thinking. This also happens a little bit before, but obviously here it becomes a nest. So ad solutions, this is where you go in off Amazon. DSP obviously becomes much more relevant here. External channels, Meta, Google, because at a certain point, the current ad solution sponsor product just becomes inefficient. You're spending so much, you're not getting the return for it. So you have to think, where's your next dollar going to be most efficient? That could be DSP, that could be Meta, Google. You start spreading it, but can also be towards indirect marketing channels like influencers, partnerships. This is where you have to start creating that program. I was at an event with Hudson. He's the founder of Comfort, and he talks about how extensive his influencer program is and his creator program is, and how much he relies on it and how useful it's been with him. You want to obviously continuously improve CAC to LTV, but you can reduce marginal CAC at this stage because you have so many channels competing with each other. They're trying to justify the spend, and you can negotiate between them, or at least have RFPs because you have so many solutions. You can allocate budgets. Once one of them becomes inefficient, you can move it to another solution very easily as you kind of quarterly design budgets and design everything. And also you actually start altering the PDB for specific events. So for example, we had a foot massager for Father's Day. We changed the entire PDP and we changed the premium A plus content to father wearing them, and this is a Father's Day gift. Then the same product on Mother's Day, we do the same thing, right? So it's like you just have to alter and create promotional campaigns for certain events to make it, because your product fits all of them again, but now you can win on all of them because you have the mind share and you have that solution, you have all the stuff that goes with it. And this is a huge product, obviously. I think Record did 13 million a year, just this foot massager, 2 SKUs. So obviously we're doing that. So Amazon marketing fundamentals, you want to maximize the profit per unit of attention. That's kind of biggest things. Amazon advertising is still one of the cheapest ways to get CAC. I hear a lot of people talk about how expensive it is. We have compared it to other solutions, and it's been very efficient for us to get new customers. You always want to focus on increasing CVR, increasing AOV slash LTV basically, and that you always want to focus on reducing wasted spend. That's the 3 components that you're looking at a high level. We want to make sure that there's alignment of the SEO, creative, and ads. This is a big one. So initially when we talked, like if we're running a Father's Day campaign, as much as we can get Father's Day images in there and a father wearing it even, then you want to do that. And the primary goal of marketing should be getting organic sales eventually. I mean, Peter Drucker has a nice quote: the aim of marketing is to get a customer, not just that specific sale. And that's where you're trying to get. You're thinking long term. Even when you're starting, you're investing. And for Amazon, you're not getting any customer data. They're never going to give you that, but they could give you organic ranking. You're going to get LTV with subscribe and save, all that kind of stuff. And that's I have an entire video on subscribe and save. You can go check it out, the video on subscribing and LTV. But that's a huge component of itself, obviously, the SNS coupons and everything there. So that's kind of the presentation. If there's anyone that has questions, and you can also feel free to follow me on LinkedIn. Obviously, subscribe here on YouTube, and you can check out our newsletter as well.